Hi, my name is Clinton Mullins.
And I'm Ron Mullins.
And welcome to the Ron and Son podcast. So we're going to be doing a weekly podcast, and we're going to touch a lot of different subjects. Today, actually, we're going to be talking about an alien encounter that my father had, and also about a movie that we made together. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Sasquatch. Whoop. I think I heard him.
They're out there.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
So yeah, Sasquatch. We're going to talk about Bigfoot, and then we're also going to talk about business. We're going to talk a little bit about Dogger's Bar and Grill that I opened up. Also a little bit about one of my dad's businesses that he ran, and we're also going to do a little bit about just the Northwest as well. And just to get started here, I'm going to give a little introduction because this is our first podcast. It's the first podcast I have personally ever done. Is this your first too?
Well, I've been recorded before, but it's the first podcast I've ever done.
I'm not talking about aliens.
Yeah, well, I think the aliens done me too.
The aliens recorded him too. That's awesome. So to introduce myself, I'm turning 39 tomorrow. Which by the time this video airs, which is going to be on Sundays at noon, I'll be 39. I'm currently finishing up my doctorate at Grand Canyon University. I have my associates in digital media and journalism from South Puget Sound Community College, where my father actually went and inspired me into going to college there. And then I have my bachelor's of music and arts from Evergreen, Washington. I'm a Gooey Duck, which my father also is a Gooey Duck. And then during the pandemic, before the pandemic, I started my master's degree from WGU, and I finished within about a year and a couple months. So that was one nice thing about the pandemic for me. I was able to really get some stuff done. And I'm currently working on my doctorate of education, leadership, and organizations degree. And I'm planning on teaching college. I would like to run my own business again. I have a lot of different ideas. So really, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I could, I'd just play music for the rest of my life and make podcasts for you guys and go for my second doctorate. But, I don't think I can be Van Wilder Dogger for the rest of my life and just stay in college, which, it sounds really fun just to stay in college for a while, but that's probably not going to happen. Well, enough about me. Let's hear a little bit about Ron.
Well, I'm what Buckminster Fuller would call it, I'm just, truly a generalist. I've done a lot of things. And I graduated in 1974. It took me 13 years to get through high school. That counted grade school, though, too. So it wasn't that long in high school. And then I worked for a long time and had a whole bunch of different jobs, from being a general contractor to a timber consultant, working in mills. And then I went to a dislocated worker program, and I graduated from South Puget Sound Community College. And I was lucky enough, I was picked by the faculty to be the class speaker when I graduated. And then I received a full scholarship to be able to go to the Evergreen State College, and I got a degree in social studies with a Native American interest. I've been a Chinook tribal councilman. I've been a city councilman for the city of Alma and also a hospital commissioner in Grays Harbor. And here, starting tomorrow, I haven't worked in like 6.5 years. I've been semi-retired. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be a band teacher. I'm just excited. It was kind of like when I told my wife, if I can be a band teacher, I'm going to teach foreign language next. That's what I thought. I thought that would be real fun. But I've done lots of different businesses. I'm really good with business and conflict resolution. In fact, for the state of Washington, I worked on 4 years worth of their labor contracts. I was one of 22 people that was picked by our all home and community service offices to represent them during labor contracts. So that was real interesting. I enjoyed that. And then the last few years, I've been buying and selling real estate. I invested some of the money I got from work and bought lots and resold them and kept contracts. And that's what made me in the position where I'm at today, to be able to just do what I want to do. But you know what? A real job is you just do what you want to do. It's not really called a job. It's called enjoyment. So that's kind of a little bit about me, and I'm looking forward to being able to share some different ways to make money, become happy, and become self-sufficient. So won't we go on?
Awesome. So that was all really interesting. So as you heard, he went to SPSCC and Evergreen, and that was one of the big influences on my life of why I wanted to go to college. And one of the reasons I got my master's degree was I wanted to be the first one in our family to get one, not trying to outdo anybody, but I was. But I'm hoping that my sister will follow me in my footsteps on that one. So we're going to move on to our first topic. This first topic's been a family story since I was a little kid. It's that story you tell at the campfire when everybody's a little bit scared, and everybody's got a story, When you're out there in the middle of the woods, you're camping, you start talking about aliens, you start talking about Bigfoot, you start talking about ghosts. And I'm going to ask you a little bit, Dad, about the situation you had when you ran that. Was it a laundromat? No, it was a motel in Quinault.
I was in my 20s. I was a young man. I had been a real estate agent in Port Angeles, and I was given the opportunity where we went and we bought it was a mobile home park, motel, laundromat, and an arcade. What a combination, we did that for about 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. But this was one day, and I'm talking during the day, that we actually saw an alien craft. And this was, we were located in Amanda Park, Washington, and this is about 1982. And Amanda Park is on the Quinault River, and you can see Lake Quinault and the Olympic National Mountains in the background. Well, right in town, there was a Texaco station right across 101, and this craft came, and it was what I would typically call the stereotype of an alien ship. It was saucer-shaped, aluminum looking, and it had a few lights, but on the bubble on the top, you could see these two figures, and we're within 400 feet of this craft. It's just hovering there about 200 feet off the ground. We had about eight different people got on top of the laundromat and watched. Ricky Erngman, he was now he'd be in his 50s, late 50s, because I was a young man then, and he was probably like 14. I remember him as one of the people watching. And we all got up there and we watched this craft and the people inside. And then I called the sheriff's department and let them know what was going on. And it stayed there for 5 to 8 minutes. I know that's pretty close. But when it left, it was like, it left so quick. I blinked my eyes and it was almost out of sight. And I blinked and it was gone. And I was going, oh my God. And I think what brought it to us was on the motel, we had a strobe light that was off a Cessna airplane, and that strobe light would flash night and day, night and day, night and day. And on Highway 101, I believe the craft could have came up through the Quinault Reservation from the Pacific Ocean, and then it was right there next to the lake and also the Olympic National Park. And we don't have very many people within that area. So this is really destitute. And once I got cold chill bumps, whenever I tell the story, I get cold chill bumps. But whenever you've had an encounter of such magnitude and actually seen it and felt it and was there, and I was witness with other people, so it wasn't an illusion, it's real. And they're out there. And we know that we're part of them. And I think we're kin, So our beginnings are different than what may have been told to us in the past, but we're still learning as a group to be able to, the next discoveries that are out there. And they've been out there and they've been watching, and they're watching us and seeing how we're doing. And as we're taking care of this earth, we're not doing a good job. As Mother Earth would say, we're not doing a good job. If you look at all the conflict that we have towards one another, we're not spreading love. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of things that's negative, and we need to be able to be a more positive influence towards one another, towards the earth as itself, because the earth's a living being, and the creatures that are all here, because we're all one. So that's kind of the story of my alien ship. And we have some more, but that's enough for today. And only so much adrenaline I can get pumping at once.
Yeah, we'll be sharing stories about aliens. We actually did a alien abduction. I put out an album, alien abduction album right there. I got the shirt on. And Dad and I took his RV and we went out in the woods and found the Integratron in the woods, in the desert actually, in Southern California. We had some experiences there. But we're going to be talking about those kind of experiences on every show. We'll have one little spot in the beginning where we talk about them. And we don't want to spill all the beans in one show. We're also planning on having some guest speakers. Right now, we're just getting, used to running all the gear. A lot of this is new to me. But we plan on having some guests. So if you have any ideas or you want to be a guest, especially if you're an alien, he's always posted on Craigslist.
Right. And on reference to Craigslist, I posted here, it was about 2.5 years ago. I was doing some things. I was making a motorhome with flashing lights and stuff. And I wanted to have an alien come and see me. Well, then I got these people that started saying that they were aliens. And then I had this other person told me, he says, Ron, there's good aliens and there's bad aliens. And I don't want to find a hungry alien and have them dry me out for protein. So if you do want to contact us and stuff, we're welcome to contact, but we come in peace and we respect the same that you come to us. And some things may not be communicated in words. They could be thoughts or, those kinds of things. But we'll know that you're there and that you're waiting.
Awesome. Well, we're going to move on. We'll get back to that subject on our next episode. Remember, these episodes come out every Sunday at noon West Coast time. And the first one is going to be this Sunday, which hopefully you're enjoying this. And it'll get better as we go, as we learn our equipment, and as we get guests in. So we are filming in Westport, Washington, here in my the residence. And it's nice. Like usually if I didn't have all this recording gear going on, I can literally hear the ocean where I'm sitting. It's just a beautiful place. And then I think I just heard a pot or a pan in the kitchen ding. These are pretty sensitive mics. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the movie topic, which is about my dad contacted me. This is like, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. And he had an idea where he wanted to put together a film. He had just retired and he wanted to put together this film called Porthole Adventures, where you went into a bathroom and it was a portal to another place. So for instance, if I went into the bathroom at my home, I could portal to his house into his bathroom. And hopefully it was good timing and I didn't have to deal with any weird smells or nothing.
Yeah.
But anyways, Porthole Adventures, we had some really cool volunteers come and act for it. Actually, even one that's done some great things. And we plan on releasing this movie on this YouTube channel, and we're going to release it, I'm thinking, sometime in February. And we're going to do a premiere where we're going to sit down. We're going to actually have a chat thing going where you can ask us questions, and my dad's going to be there to answer them and just experience the screening of it together. And then maybe this summer, if people are into it, it'd be cool to do a screening outside and have a projector and all that, which I have access to the equipment to make that happen. But I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the movie. What made you, what gave you the idea of putting together a movie about aliens and Bigfoot and bathrooms being the portals?
Well, at one time, I had a sewage business, and the portholes were actually coming from vault toilets in the parks, different parks or fish and wildlife and those kinds of things. And we had to clean them, and I could find almost anything in a vault toilet. And in fact, I think my wife got me one of my wallets that came from a Santa can. Actually, I had that for like 7 years. But the other thing is what the idea was aliens are coming here, and part of it might have to do with reproduction, and the reproduction that they were coming to find us and getting our DNA to take back so that they can reproduce themselves because they were a dying species. And the way they would transport would be from these vault toilets, from one vault toilet to the next. and these other different types of beings would come. And it was also about giving people a second chance. I also had worked for the Stafford Creek institution, where I worked with a lot of people that were incarcerated, either juveniles at Maple Lane or Stafford Creek, and that. And once someone gave their time was over, and it was about families coming back together, about alien experiences and the experience of all. And I had over 150 some people that actually donated, because in the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of people. I just asked them to kind of give me their foot dance. So we start off with a foot dance, and we recorded it, and.
He's actually foot dancing right now.
Yeah, we'd foot dance with our foot, and I think that's what you really enjoy. And then there was a lot of musicians in the area that donated all the music that's on it. So it's like a lot of times you go see something, they got somebody else's music and they're playing it. No, it's all people that donated their time that was here, all original stuff. And I think that was what was cool. And we also had a couple more parts, but the one's completed, and we do have some recordings on the second one and the third one right now, but we haven't got those completed. But
so what you're saying is the first one is more of like a pilot, and then one thing from my understanding is Dad wanted to release multiple videos and do some kind of Netflix or YouTube or whatever it was going to be, and it just never made it to that next level. We put a lot of work into it, and then it kind of went on the back burner. But to add to the story, we're going to talk about this on a future broadcast, is we actually went on a tour together where I played music, and I had just put out an album called Alien Abduction, which is perfect for what the movie was about. And I think he printed like 1,000 of these DVDs. And we went all over the West Coast handing them out. And just to touch the surface, we spent like 2 weeks in Malibu. And we figured, there's probably a lot of famous people that go to the post office for their P.O. box in Malibu. And he was at the post office right out front, just handing these things out.
Right.
Handing them out to everybody while I'm sitting there playing my acoustic guitar in the RV. And it's awesome, the work ethic that my dad has for everything he does in his life. I think that's a big reason why I have the work ethic that I have. Yeah. And anyways, I just wanted to touch base on the movie and kind of ask you why. And I feel like we need to move on, but we are going to be broadcasting that movie in February. And when I get that out, it's going to be really exciting, and maybe it'll spark some interest for us to come out with a couple more, because we do have a lot more film. I had a really good time working with all the actors. It was difficult at times trying to figure out what my dad wanted, and then being able to get the actors to do what his vision was, because we didn't have a script. It was more free-flowed, but because of the free flow of everything and the openness, things happened on camera that you wouldn't expect. There's one scene in particular that's not even in the first movie, that it would be in a different one if we kept going with it, where we're underneath the bridge in Aberdeen that goes over the Chehalis River Bridge, the big one. And there's one individual, and everybody points at him, and they start moving closer. No one says anything, but the energy and just how that scene worked is one of my favorite scenes on the whole film. It speaks louder than words, just because the energy behind it. And didn't we have twins as well?
We had twins. We went to Kurt Cobain's different houses that he was at. A lot of the actors, what we were trying to do at the time was, I grew up with J.P. Patches, Wanda Wanda, Captain Puget, Brakeman Bill, and I wanted to have a show that I could have for the children and the family. There isn't one piece of profanity within the show that we produced, but it sure causes a lot of stress and anxiety. And I just got a kick out of that. And then when we went to Malibu, what I liked about Malibu at the post office was, to get in the post office at Malibu, you got to put key numbers in to get in. I couldn't go in and even buy stamps at Malibu. That was kind of different, I thought. And when I was in Malibu, too, I was always watching. That's why I like going on cruises. I watch at the water. I swear I saw a cigar-shaped figure right out of Malibu where we were staying, about 2 miles or 1.5 miles down, that was going in the sky, and it was kind of traveling like that during that trip. And I thought that was just, something else.
And we were staying right on the beach, actually. Our camp spot was literally like, there's the highway and then the camp spot. And you could literally walk under the highway and we were at the beach. And I had this little amp that we borrowed from Mom that was battery powered, and I would point it towards the surfers. And I would just play all day while we were hanging out there. And they would come up to me and thank me. And it was a really beautiful experience. But we're going to get back into that story and really dig deep on it, because there's a lot of fun stories on that. Actually, we're going to switch it up now and talk about Sasquatch and the Olympics and the Pacific Northwest. So I actually have always been interested in Bigfoot and aliens and Sasquatch and paranormal stuff. But that comes from a paranormal experience I had as a child, which I'm not going to talk about on this episode. We will get to that eventually. But the Bigfoot experiences I've had started with hanging out with a gentleman named Johnny Manson. He's a local broadcaster here in Grace Harbor. My friends and I, we helped him run sound for a couple of the events out at the Quinault Casino. And I started hanging out with him, and we went out to Quinault, and he had these things that he was calling gifting trees. And you would leave Reese's, apples, just different things at the trees. And on one of our times when we went there to gift, I think we were bringing Reese's and apples at this time, we found a print. And this print, I got chills right now. I'm not saying it's Sasquatch. I'm not saying that a man made it or whatever. That's for you to decide. But the feelings I got and what I seen that day changed my mind on the whole situation. And I've also had experiences out the Wainuchi by the dam. My best friend and I used to do a lot of steelhead fishing, and we'd get out there right before daylight, and we'd sleep in the truck for an hour, get up at daylight, and go fish the morning bite. And we had something literally take our whole truck and shake it. And when you get out of the truck, there was nothing there. And it was quite frightening, actually. And I've heard a lot of different things. But that's something that we want to get into on this podcast. We want to have a couple episodes about it, and where we have some guests. I've met quite a few people, a couple guys from the Finding Bigfoot show. I've had the opportunity to meet Don Meldrum. He's a pretty well-known guy on the History Channel for being a college professor, and he knows a lot about it. So I'm hoping to get some people that have some more information on Sasquatch and not just personal experiences. And but I truly believe, and it took an experience for me, multiple experiences, and if anybody's had an experience, we'd love to hear about it. I mean, comment on the video, tell us your experience, and we can talk about it in our podcast if you comment on the video about it. That's always welcome. At this point, we're not taking comments off this channel. I know a lot of people don't have comments on their YouTube channels, because there's a lot of people that go on here and they heckle and they say this or that. But everybody's welcome to an opinion. So, yeah, I'm not going to take that off. You had something to say, though.
Well, if there's anyone out there that's got some hair that they think's from Bigfoot, or a Bigfoot casting or something like that, and they want to share that with us, we'll leave a way that you can get a hold of us, and you can share that information with us so we can actually see it and touch it and smell it, and then share it with the rest of the people. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I definitely I've had a casting before. I've witnessed hair. I've seen hair that was claimed to be Sasquatch hair, and I didn't smell it. That's interesting.
You didn't smell it.
I didn't smell it, but actually, my brother and I, Jason, my stepbrother, when we were hunting, you were there, but him and I went down a trail. We had an experience where we felt really weird, and we smelled a really nasty smell, almost like
like me in the bathroom.
I'm not talking about that.
It was bad.
I'm just glad he did that before we started filming, because...
Oh, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. Anyways, we're going to be talking about Sasquatch. I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole on that one, so we're going to bring that back in on some episodes when we get the right non-bathroom talk. So we're going to jump right into business. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think it's important to be a business owner. But it is a risky thing. So if you're a hard worker and you're down to put in 70 hours a week to 100 hours a week, you can be a successful business owner. In 2017, it was August 1st, I hit up my dad, and he goes, "Why don't you open your own music venue?" And at the time, I was touring. I was playing 7 nights a week. I was DJing. I was hosting karaoke. I was running sound at weddings. Anything I could do music, I was doing it. And he's like, "You open your own venue, and you could do that there." So I had some money saved. I think I had $2,500, and I played a concert in Yelm, Washington for the first ever UFO festival, which was perfect because I had my alien abduction album. And at the time, I was looking for a space. And I stumbled across Jody's in Yelm, a little corner spot, old dirty bar, and it said for rent. And I called the number, and like the next day, I met with the owner, Betsy, and I gave her my $2,500. And here, all of a sudden, I had a music venue that somehow I had to come up with rent money for. And I had no income besides playing music. And there isn't a lot of income to be made as an original artist. I did okay as, I did weddings and I did different things, but it was difficult. But what got me through that and why I was successful is I worked hard. And I never let somebody say no be the answer. And I think that was why I was able to build that. And I had multiple hurdles to jump over. I mean, my kitchen was completely gutted. I had about, an eighth of an inch to a quarter inch of grease on the walls. I had outdated fire system. The health department didn't want me to open. I had rats. And I slept on, instead of having a house and paying rent, I lived at the venue. So I didn't have that to pay for so that I could afford it, which I couldn't afford it. But through the pure awesomeness of the support of other musicians and people in the community and my drive, I was able to keep it going. But we're going to be talking a lot about business opportunities on this podcast. And I just wanted to share my story, and I'll share it again, I'm sure, that anybody with the drive could make a business happen and be successful. And there's many things I did wrong, but there's many things I did right. And anytime you are in that situation, you're able to look back and know what you can do next time to have a better opportunity. For instance, whenever I opened up, I was completely sober. I didn't drink alcohol. And by the time that I left my restaurant, bar, and grill, I was drinking. And I feel like that was my biggest issue. And if I could take it back and do it again, I would have never started drinking. And that was my biggest lesson in that. But besides lessons learned and everything, we're going to talk about business on this channel because ultimately you're watching, you might be working a job and feeling like you're paying your bills and you have nothing to show for it. And I've been there. I've worked a job and not even been able to pay bills. And like many people are working hard and they have to have a roommate or rent a room. I mean, rent a room in Seattle might be $1,200 right now. That's crazy. Owning a business is really an easy way, not an easy way, but a way to develop passive income and different things so that you can have the things you want in the time later in life. And working a job is important, but we're going to share with you lots of opportunities for making income that can make life a little bit more comfortable. And so what do you want to talk about?
Well, first off is with every problem, there's an opportunity. With every struggle, whether it's your struggle or our country's struggle or the world's struggle, there's an opportunity. You see the opportunities and you resolve problems or issues or things that people need. You become service oriented. I've been in probably in my lifetime 25, 30 different types of businesses. Not all registered, but I bet you probably 3/4 of them were registered businesses. And one of my degrees is I have an ATA in business administration. And I think I learned more from my failures than I ever did from any of my successes. And probably my biggest success in real estate, a lot of that just happened. It wasn't planned. I didn't know that it would work out as well as it did. When I worked really hard, I didn't see the success. When I worked really smart, I became successful and I didn't have to work very hard at that moment, because then I'd be starting to use my brain instead of just putting in just hours and hours and hours. So part of it is you got to have a business plan. You got to put it down on paper. If you don't write it down on a piece of paper, it can't happen. You also, you ask yourself, who's your biggest hero? Who do you want to be like? And then you say to yourself, well, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, I had a picture of him for a long, long time. Well, the more that I looked into him, the more I wanted to be like him. So we all have different heroes in life, and you recognize who those heroes are, and then you ask yourself, what makes that person, why you like them so much? And the more you find out what you like them about, the more you'll become like them. Also, you associate yourself with other people that have succeeded. We don't need downers. That's one thing. Because if you want to succeed, you want to be with the same type of people that want to succeed. A lot of times, people can be like the flu. They're negative. It's like we turn on the news and it's always bad news. We want a good news channel. We don't want to talk about the bad stuff. There's a lot of people out there talking about the bad stuff. Well, we don't need to go back there and give that any type of credence. We want to talk about good stuff and how you can get there.
You did say bad aliens.
I did say, well, well, maybe not bad aliens. Well, the part about the aliens being bad was they're hungry, or they're here because of judgment, because we did things that were wrong in the way that we've treated the world in which we lived. So don't be a protein bar, that part of thing. But one of the biggest reasons why a business will fail is poor planning. And also, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to pay my taxes, or I want to work for cash. I want the cash under the table. I don't want to, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay Uncle Sam. Well, I'm glad to be an American, and I'm glad to pay my taxes. Last year, I paid more than Donald Trump. And I think that was pretty good. We won't get into politics, but, some people say, well, it's good not to pay taxes. Well, we wouldn't have the things we have unless we do pay taxes. And I don't mind helping the ones that are less fortunate than me pay my fair share. And I think that's what we're here for, is to help one another. And part of the businesses, we're going to come up with different businesses that you can do, starting from $100 or even very little, even less than that, all the way up to thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but different types of businesses that you can get into, be successful, and help you with that plan to be successful, and also give you guidance along the way. And one thing to remember, I think, in life, when you're dealing with any kind of business, and you're dealing with somebody that's a licensed, a lawyer, a law enforcement, whoever it might be, a code enforcement officer, whoever, when you talked on the phone or you talked to somebody in person, go back and write down what you said. Because as time goes on, we may forget what we said, and you don't know what that other person writes down or remembers, and it might be different than yours. And there's a lot of times it'll come back down to what was said. That's why you put it on your calendar, you put it on your daily notes, and that's actually admissible in a court of law, as long as you do that as a habit, and you don't think you're going to write them all on the same day. You do it and be honest when you do it. So, but we're going to talk to you about business, how to be successful. This is a great opportunity. There's a lot of millionaires being made every day, but you know what a true job is? Isn't a job. It's something that you enjoy, you love, and you look forward to doing every day because you enjoy it. It isn't so the idea that it's work, it really doesn't become work if it's something that you enjoy. And that's what I liked about business. It's got me where I'm at. And it's like I said, I'm a cancer survivor. I've had a couple of different kinds of cancer, but I'm here today. I'm glad I'm here to be able to share with my son and share with you and be able to help others. But what we're here to do is to help others better themselves, better their family, better their community, and become a community leader. So That's kind of what I have to say about business a little bit. And when you started your business, I always kind of thought to myself, Adam Sandler, before he got there, kind of like, the wedding singer. But he was out there working really hard. And look at Adam Sandler, he's done good for himself. So is Clint.
Thank you. Yeah, I was working really hard, and I felt like at a certain point I was turning my wheels. I mean, I was making money, and it's not like I wasn't, but at a certain point I was losing the enjoyment I found from my job, where I'm a musician, songwriter. I love to play music, but I was losing the joy of playing music. And when you lose the joy of something that you really love and then you get paid to do it, it's not a great feeling. No. And I feel like opening the venue and having a space for other musicians to perform and grow and play their music was more of a rewarding experience for me, and something that I actually would like to get back into someday. It's not something that I want to do for a career, but it's something that later on, whenever I can afford to do, I would like to have some kind of music venue that's not open every day. Maybe they don't have shows every weekend, but I would like to have a space to supply music for the community, spot where people can go in and do fundraisers. That was something that I did a lot at my venue. We did a lot of fundraisers. So not only can you make money for yourself with a business, you can help other people make money for veterans that need. We did a lot of work with veterans. That was probably my favorite thing. As you see the American flag behind us, I'm a very proud American. I'm not a right-left American. I don't vote one certain way. I'm an American. I'm in the middle, somewhere in here, to where I'm your brother, and you're my brother, and you're my sister. And if you're right, you're left, I don't care. I still want to be your friend. I still want to know your opinion and respect your opinion, because we all have opinions. And that doesn't make us enemies. That doesn't make us friends. I've been really fortunate to keep my friends through this pandemic and all the craziness with the politics and all the stuff that's happened throughout the years. A real friendship doesn't close the door over somebody's ideas or beliefs. I know a lot of people could say some crazy things about that, but it's the truth. I mean, we all have our own ideas and ways that we see things, and sometimes it's just better to respect other people's opinions. And yeah, you can educate and give your opinion, but you can't change somebody. They have to be willing to change. And so that's just a little recap of, not a recap, but I'm about to go in the recap of our episode. That's what we're going to be talking about in our upcoming episodes, where we're going to dig a lot deeper into, like, for instance, the business. We're going to come up with business plans on what you could do to start a business. Like, I started mine with $2,500. For some, that might be a lot of money, but in the whole aspect of opening a bar and grill, that doesn't even pay your fees to open, your applications for your everything that's involved. It doesn't even come close. So it's incredible to me that we were able to do that. And we're gonna do a lot of talk about a lot of opportunities for people. We're gonna have guests in. Also, a lot more. We're gonna have a lot more alien stories from Dad. Dad has quite the extensive experiences that freak me out, and it's just something really cool. Wealth of knowledge here that you all can learn from that. We're gonna probably talk a little more about the movie that's coming out, and that movie is going to be coming out in February. I haven't set a date yet, but by the next time I talk to you, it will be out. And then I have lots of Bigfoot stuff to talk about. We'll probably be having guests. Maybe I can get Johnny Manson in here, or somebody else that's an expert in that area. I am no expert. I have wrote a song you can find on YouTube called Fishing with Bigfoot, and you type in Dogger, and actually the Sasquatch in that music video is my dad. There's a few different people that play the Sasquatch, but the best Sasquatch character is Dad. At the very beginning, he's like on the chains to the power plants in Elma, and actually he's just shaking them and making some noise. And the security didn't they call the sheriff on us?
called the Grace Harbor County Sheriff showed up.
Yeah, they thought we were trying to break in, and like the guy said that we were breaking, or we had bolt cutters, and like the security guard made up this huge story. My dad was breaking in with bolt cutters, not even true, but.
And they know who I am around here, so it was kind of one of those weird things.
And then also we're gonna be talking. We're just gonna be bringing up a lot of different cool stuff and opportunities that can affect you personally. And I feel like what my dad said about being positive and not negative, that is our biggest goal and probably biggest asset to our channel, is we're trying not to be negative. And
I'd like to say one thing. When I was teaching at the Stafford Creek Prison, I taught Job Hunter, and I had a student there that actually, when he got out, he was able to buy a house while he was in prison from the information I provided for him. And that gave him something to work for. And I'll provide you ways to be able to buy real estate with very little money down, and show you new opportunities that each one of us have that's available. And I think you all will enjoy it. You'll look forward to the new programs. You'll be able to go back and be able to learn from the ones that we do provide you, so you won't lose any of that information and documentation in that plan on what you have to do and how you have to do it and who you need to contact. That will all be provided. So the journey's not only for us, but it's for you too.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. So just to go over the schedule again real quick. On Mondays on this channel, the Clinton Mullins channel, I'm Clinton Mullins. We're going to be rolling out this month in January at noon, live performances from Doggers. Actually, almost forgot today, so it's Sunday now, I rolled out my how to open a bar with $2,500 video, which basically just shows the video proof of me opening a bar and then having it be a beautiful bar and grill when it was done, that's producing food and all that. And then the other thing is on Wednesdays, I upload at noon the random stuff that I'm going to open or upload. Like today was that video. And then on Fridays, we're going to be doing a live performance where I play acoustic guitar and I sing one of my songs. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've got hundreds of songs. So every Friday this year, I'll be performing one of my songs that I previously recorded, and I recorded in here in my studio, and I put a little reverb on there, but it's live. It's not produced really, and then I release that. That's just a personal goal I made, and I think it's important to make goals, being it's a new year. And then on Sundays at noon, I heard somebody scream. It's good, awesome having kids. Anyways, at noon on Sundays, we will be releasing this podcast, which is the Ron and Son podcast, every Sunday.
Zip, zap, zoom. Sounds cool to me. And I'm going to be here, and I'm be glad to share it with you. And I'm kind of excited about the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thanks for having you coming in and doing this with me. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Like the video and subscribe it. And then ring the bell. There's a little bell next to the dizzle. And comment. And feel free to contact us.
Anytime.
Anytime you can.
Yeah. Bye.
See you later.
Oh, there we go.